during the that race. Who took 1 minute through tires. David Coulthard went on to win. This is perfect for motor racing. Every team to get ahead of the pack. We can expect to see flaky hot out here today. The attention-filled pause. When the lights go out, the race begins. One light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights, pause, go! Oh my word!
Hi everyone, Dave here and welcome back to the complete guide to every F1 game on PlayStation ever. This is part 5 and today I present to you Formula 1 99. After the enormous disappointment of Formula 1 98, Psygnosis decided not to ask Visual Sciences to make another F1 game and instead they asked Studio 33 to step into the fold, who also had previously worked with Bizarre Creations on Newman Haas Racing, but this game was built entirely from the ground up. Okay, first things first, has it got an arcade mode? Yeah. Oh, no, actually it hasn't. They spent a lot of time trying to perfect the graphics and everything else in the game. They didn't have time to put an arcade mode in. So no, there is no arcade mode in Formula 1 99, but there is a quick race, which is what you are seeing now. And as you can see, the graphics have come on a long way from F1 98. There's no more Lego cars, and the backgrounds, the scenery, the actual sky, the clouds, everything is done to a very, very high standard indeed. Even the modelling of the cars, as you can see, is very buff and polished. Now, unfortunately, there are a few problems with the game, and let's just have a look now at a track preview with Martin Brundle.
The final part of the pit straight, it seems like you're going into a tunnel. The pit wall on the left, a concrete wall on the right, and the first corner you can't even see. You're staring at the grandstand. Curve 1. Drop downhill just 60 miles an hour, and immediately the right of the Senna S, just 85 miles an hour. The long turn 3, Curve du Sol, 135 miles an hour through the middle, and accelerate hard down the back straight. Turn 4, Descida de Largo, 185 on the way in. The track tends to fall away from you, just 80 miles an hour.
Okay, this is the test drive mode, which is basically a load of virtual cones that you just have to drive in between the middle of, and this teaches you the racing lines and the braking points for each individual circuit. And you can also see we're under wet conditions, so the rain effects are quite good this year. There's lots of spray coming up from the back of the cars. Okay, let's have a look at the tracks that you can drive in Formula 1 99. We go to Australia first, followed by the Brazilian Grand Prix. Our next one is the San Marino Grand Prix, followed by the Monaco Grand Prix, and then the Spanish Grand Prix, followed by the Canadian Grand Prix at Montreal, and then of course the French Grand Prix at Magny-Cours. Following on from that, we got Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, then the Austrian Grand Prix at the A1 ring, then the German Grand Prix at the original Hockenheim, and then on to the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hungaro ring, and the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Following that, we have the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, and the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Then we have the Malaysian Grand Prix, which is new for 99, and the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. Also, you can save your settings for anything that you've actually done within the game. You also have the sound setup, and Dolby Surround is actually featured within this game. You've also got your high scores, which you can add to your table for whatever difficulty level you want to use the game at, and of course there's the controller calibration, which means you can adjust the individual controls for your preference, and of course the screen movement, which is always good for chucking the screen off to the left. Okay then, on to the drivers. You can have David Coulthard and Mika Hakkinen driving the course for McLaren. Then we've got BAR, Ricardo Zonta and Jack Villeneuve, featured for the first time in the game. On to Minardi, we've got Marc Gené and Luca Badoa. Our next team you can drive for is Prost with Jarno Trulli and Olivier Panis. Then hello Sailor. Then we've got Stewart with Johnny Herbert and Rubens Barrichello. Our next team is Arrows with Torusuke Takagi and Pedro Della Rosa. On to the next team. You've got Sauber with Pedro Diniz and John Alesi. Following on from that, we've got Benetton with Alexander Wirtz and Giancarlo Fisichella. Next team is Jordan, Heinz Harold Frentzen, and of course Damon Hill. Then on to Williams, we've got Ralf Schumacher and Alexandro Zanardi. Our next team we've got is Ferrari, of course, with Eddie Irvine and Michael Schumacher. Okay then, so also there were substitutes, of course. This was 1999, in which Michael broke his leg, so we have Mika Salo as the substitute for the rest of the 99 season, or at least some more of it anyway. And also at Minardi we also had Luca Badoa and Marc Gené, and Stefan Sarazan also drove for Minardi. And then of course Mika Salo also drove for BAR as well. Okay, on to the race setup now. You can have your crash and spins on or off. You can have the damage on off, minor or full. The lap counter is either 5 laps, 10 laps, 20 laps or a full Grand Prix distance. The fuel usage you can either have on or off. The weather you can have as realistic, rainy, cloudy, sunny, and that's it. Okay, on to the AI. You can have the AI on easy, normal, hard or expert. On to the next set you can have, and we go now to the failures. You can have on full, minor or off. We're going to put it on full for the demonstration purposes. You can have the flags on, off or full rules, and we're going to have the full rules set for this race, and the tyre wear is going to be off or on, and we're going to put that on. Then of course you've got the grid assistance. You can have on or off, which helps you get off the line, and of course the pit assist. Make sure that you manage to get in and out of the pits with no problems whatsoever. Okay then, on to the race, and of course we're going to go to Monte Carlo, but let's have a look at the setup at the moment. Now you initially get 3 presets. Preset 1 gives you front and rear downforce at low on a hard suspension, brake bias of course more to the front, medium long gear ratios and a dry hard tyre. Now of course you can change these presets, and as you can see you've got setup 1, setup 2 and setup 3 below these 3 presets, which you can user define with your own setups if you so desire. So we're going to go to Monaco. We're going to drive as Alexander Wirtz in the Benetton. Of course the chassis was the Benetton B199 and the engine was a rebadged Playlife V10, which is basically I think a Renault engine if my memory serves me right, but of course they had to rebadge it because Renault left the sport in 98 and 99, and so Williams also had their car rebadged. I think it was called a Mechachrome engine, but of course in essence it was a arm of Renault. So there you go, there's your settings. Let's go now to Monaco, the Monaco test for Formula 1 99, and we're going to start from the back of the grid. Of course we haven't qualified, just going straight into the race. Eddie Irvine's got pole position. Wow, Michael Schumacher is first. So the lights go out and it's away we go at Monaco at Formula 1 99. As you can see, a vast improvement in the graphics. There's no Lego cars as we go into the first corner now. Oh yes, just look, it's hardly any pop-up as well, it has to be said. The graphics have really been given a good old spit and polish for this year's version. Okay, so the problems in this game, unfortunately one of them is a very big problem. We've got a yellow flag because the car is off, his engine has blown up, it's one of the Ferraris. Okay, one of the big problems in this game unfortunately happens to be a biggie, and it's the handling. The handling is very poor in this game. I've seen a lot of people on doing YouTube videos and they do seem to get around quite well. I don't know whether they're using a steering wheel or whatever, but on the pad it is very hard to get it to actually steer. It's got a very weird steering system as we go through the Monaco tunnel now. As you can see, it's quite dark, but there are a few lights, so it's not too bad in this year's version. Yes, the steering is very weird. The longer you steer, the less actual steering input you get, so you actually have to stab at the steering or the left joystick to actually get it to steer around the corners. Okay, we're going to the pit stop now. This is a very functional pit lane for 99. There's no pit crew, you just come in for your stop, and there's all the options that you get to need to change, either the tyres, the fuel levels or whatever, and it's go go go. So out you go, but you have to be very, very careful of the safety car, as you can see there, because it's actually sitting right in front of the pit lane. Okay then, so that's one of the problems, the handling. It is just, and it's very, very difficult to get to grips with. As we look at some of the other views that are on offer in this game, this is a slightly closer chase view, and I bin it straight in, as you can see. But as you can also see, you can see the damage model. Of course, you've got the rear wing, which now looks like it's bent off to one side. It doesn't actually get any worse than that, and the rear wing doesn't actually come off either in this game. You just have to come into the pits, and of course your handling is affected because of the damage to the rear wing. And now we have something new for the first time in any Formula 1 game on PlayStation. The safety car has come out. Yes, the safety, but that had problems as well, because as you can see, the car in front of me is crawling along, but he should be catching up to the safety car, but he's not. He's just crawling along, and so I'm going to pass him, and there you go, straight away you get a stop and go penalty of 10 seconds because I've overtaken the yellow flag, even though he's crawling along. As you can see from the mini-map there, the safety car is miles in front. And so we go through the tunnel now. We're going to have to come in again to serve our penalty. So the handling is not very good. Not very good at all. It seems to steer from the middle of the car, which is not very good, as I've managed to bin it straight into the wall again. And here's another view. This of course is the view where you can't see the car at all, and this also makes it even more difficult to actually handle the enormous difficulties of the steering input, because you can't actually judge where your car is. And this of course is the cockpit view as we come in now for our 10-second stop. So disappointingly, the handling is pretty awful, it has to be said. After the enormous disappointment of Formula 1 98, I was really pumped for this game, but unfortunately it lets us down once again. Studio 33 did a very, very good job on trying to get us back to the core basics of Formula 1 games, but it failed quite spectacularly in the handling of the cars. Okay then, this game does feature a replay mode, so you can see all the other cars as they're going around. Unfortunately, the view is restricted just to your car, and you can't cycle up and see any of the other cars going round, which is quite disappointing, it has to be said. So overall then, a good start to try and get the Formula 1 series back on track, but unfortunately it needed a little bit more development time in the handling. Otherwise I think this really could have been a Formula 1 97 contender, but as it is, it's not. Now unfortunately there's more bad news. This game is not compatible at all with the PlayStation 3. It doesn't even work very well with the PlayStation 2, it has to be said. Your championship seems to stall halfway through a season, and you can't actually progress any further. So it really only works best on the old original PlayStation 1, which is quite a disappointment if you haven't still got one of those lying around. The collision detection on this game is very bad indeed, and because of the rubber band effect from the catch-up, you'll always get into first position, and then into the next corner a car will ram you straight from behind and cause irreversible damage to your car, which you'll have to come in and pit. So it's basically best to just turn the damage off, because it doesn't work very well at all. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. This of course was my review of Formula 1 99 for the original PlayStation. Okay, is it worth buying? Well, yet again you can buy it for possibly about £1 on eBay or Amazon or something like that. So if you just want to have a muck around for a little while, then why not? Thanks for watching everyone. There will of course be more later.